Welcome into the Real Househusbands of Fantasy Football podcast. My name is Dustin. I'm the host, and I'm joined by Atik and Rem. How are you doing today, fellas?
What up?
I'm excited to get the first episode out there. I know we've been talking about it for a while, and with scheduling and everything. So we got the draft tomorrow. For those of you that don't know, we're recording the night before the draft. So what do y'all think about the draft? How y'all feeling? Y'all pulling for y'all's home teams? What are we thinking?
Just looking to see, of course, what my Bears do. We moved out of number one and, just tired of losing. But, just fantasy-wise, just looking to see where everybody goes, see how it plays out. What about you, Ram?
I'm excited that number 29 pick. Let's go, baby. Go Saints. I'm not sure what we're going to do. No clue. But as long as it betters our team.
Oh, yeah.
Excited.
I'm a Saints fan as well, and we always move up. So I don't know what they're going to be thinking, but I really don't know what they're going to do. No clue. But I will say the Bears got a haul for that number one pick. So I think y'all will be all right. Y'all are in the top 10, right? You have number 8. Is that right?
8 or 9, something like that.
8 or 9? Yeah.
As long as DJ Moore pans out. Get us a left tackle. DJ Moore pans out. We'll be all right.
Yeah. Good deal. All right. Well, let's get it started. We're going to start the first segment. The first segment is the news and notes headlines. Rem, take it away.
Thank you, Dustin. So we had a few things that I found very interesting that went down in football this past week, with Jameson Williams being suspended. Granted, it's only for 6 games. Aaron Rodgers finally getting traded after a long, boring 40 days. And then you already mentioned the NFL draft is Thursday. And then I don't know if y'all saw this, but Derrick Henry, they had some trade rumors of him going to Baltimore. But I don't know if that's going to happen. Yeah, exactly. I saw it, and I don't know if that's going to happen tomorrow or if it's going to happen at all. But it could have just been some BS, or it could be real. But I want to ask y'all when we get to that, how y'all feel about it. But let's start off with James Williams' suspension. How do you think it will affect his draft stock in fantasy redraft leagues and in dynasty leagues, actually?
I think he falls in redraft leagues. Those 6 games of death we heard in redraft leagues, but in dynasty leagues, maybe a round, maybe 2 rounds, if that. The guy is talented. I think people are going to panic at first. So I would say, if you're trying to acquire Jameson, now's definitely the time. Get them while they're hot. Get them while everybody's panicking about those 6 games. But let's not forget, he was more pro ready than Garrett Wilson coming out. So before the injury, we were talking about, maybe a top 10 pick. Where'd he go? Number 12 or something like that? Probably been number top 10. So.
Yeah, I think in redraft it's definitely going to hurt him. As far as dynasty, I've already gotten I have him in a couple of leagues and I've already gotten some ridiculous trade requests. Rondell Moore and a third round pick and some other no name, and I'm just like, no, like, come on, it's 6 games, it's not forever. It does suck. It's a long 6 games, especially since he missed so much time last year. But I do think that don't panic. If you have Jameson Williams, you'll be fine. But I'm excited to see whenever he gets on the field and gains that rapport with Jared Goff and having Amon-Ra on the other side of the field. I think that'll be a nice duo.
I'm super excited for my redraft leagues. Hopefully nobody's listening to this that are in my redraft leagues, because I want to be able to fall to like pick 8, 9, round 8 or 9, which would be awesome, because that'd be a solid 3. I mean, you get a wide receiver 2 and you start him in 3. Granted, wide receiver 1 probably, but
Sure.
you start him in 3. All right. Well, thank you for y'all's input on that. I personally am excited about the Aaron Rodgers finally going to the Jets, more selfishly because it's just gonna make that team whole. And although I'm not a Jets fan, I am a big Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall fan, and that just helps their stock so much more.
Oh, it'll definitely help the Jets. I mean, I don't think Aaron Rodgers is old and busted. The Jets are a quarterback away from being one of the top teams. However, I do think there is way too much hype around the Jets. People are talking about Super Bowl contenders, and personally, for me, I just don't see it. You still have to play the Bills. You still have to play Miami. What did they get? They were second in the division or third? Do y'all remember last year?
The Jets, they were third.
Okay, so
Miami. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on it, but
so they have a third. If so, I think they are third too. So they have a third place schedule. I mean,
yeah, they were third. They were 7-10 last year.
Yeah, I mean, just they got a lot of great teams in the AFC, and I just don't see. I worry that their defense is a beast, and they're so good that you're not going to need Aaron Rodgers to throw for 350 and 4 each game. I do think it helps Breece because he'll dump the ball off. And also, like, if you have a better passing game, obviously that opens up the run. But I just, in real terms, in real NFL terms, I don't see them winning the division personally. I don't know. What do y'all think?
I mean, they did beat Buffalo last year once, but I kind of think they're going to shock some people, or maybe that's the fanboy in me that wants them to win. But historically, when you look at those Hall of Fame quarterbacks those Hall of Fame veteran quarterbacks that go to different teams, historically they don't do good. Everyone besides the GOAT, Tom Brady, he's the outlier, but most of them, they maybe do decent, but not Super Bowl. Everybody except for Tom Brady, but other than that, I think it makes Garrett Wilson's draft stock skyrockets, and me selfishly with Breece Hall, I like that. So draft wise, fantasy wise, I think it is more of an implication fantasy wise than real NFL wise, to be honest. That's my answer.
Love it.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right. Well, to move on, I'm gonna skip the draft until the last part. But I have y'all heard anything about the Derrick Henry trade rumors?
I've heard a little bit about it. I mean, to me, it wouldn't make sense.
Right.
You got rid of AJ Brown. You know, you've been a run heavy team. What are you going to trade him for? You know, you don't have you have an aging quarterback. You don't have stud wide receivers. I mean, what's your identity? Um, to me, I think that's smoke. I think that's a little bullshit. Now, I will say to change gears a little bit. I have heard rumors about Dalvin Cook getting traded to Miami, and I think that's interesting because they
Please,
have
please,
right,
please
right.
let that happen.
I think that would be a great fit. They have, I don't know if y'all heard about it, but they've been talking about that. And considering that they have Jeff Wilson and Raheem Mostert, who are injury prone, who are older, I think Dalvin Cook, even if he took a 50-50 role, I think that would be a great landing spot for him. Um, if he's not traded, I think he'll be a June 1st, post June 1st cut. It just, hearing them talk, it just doesn't seem like he's going to be on the Vikings this year. But yeah, that's what I'm rooting for because I have Alexander Madison in a lot of leagues. But regardless, as far as Derrick Henry concerns, I don't see that happening.
Yeah. Agreed. Any
We'll see.
thoughts,
Well,
T?
I don't know about Derrick Henry. You know, I think fantasy wise, everybody's afraid of him, but he could be an outlier. But I have been hearing a little bit about D Hop going to the Ravens. Since y'all talking about the Ravens, I thought it was going to be done by now, but I guess not.
I've been hearing D Hop to the Bills. So that's the thing, man. There's
To the
some
Bills?
yeah, which would not be good for Stephon Diggs, but
Well, that
I
makes
guess
me
something
wonder.
happened during daddy times. Something happened while I was putting the girls down. So
yeah.
Yeah, that makes me wonder is if D Hop goes to the Bills, where Stephon Diggs go? Because I don't. That's too many mouths to feed. I mean, apparently Josh Allen had too many mouths to feed last year, and Stephon Diggs was not happy. So, but just to finish this up, the NFL draft is tomorrow. Who do y'all think will go first? Would it be C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, or would they throw a little curveball and pick Will Levis or Anthony Richardson?
the draft starts at pick 2. To be honest, we all know it's going to be Bryce. So the draft starts at pick 2. So the Texans been pretty tight-lipped. So we'll know. Who knows? I mean, today they're saying Will Levis. You know, other day they're saying CJ. The other day they were saying who was it saying?
Will Anderson.
The kid from Will Anderson. Yep. So who knows? They're trying to play Russian roulette with us.
Yeah.
What do you think, man?
It's Bryce. I mean, I put in a little small bet a couple weeks ago that it was C.J. Stroud just because Frank Reich has always gone after or has always coached quarterbacks that were 6'3" and up. I mean, Andrew Luck, Jacoby Brissett, Matt Ryan, Carson Wentz, Phillip Rivers, they were all 6'3" and above, and that fits C.J. Stroud's. C.J. Stroud fits that mold, but I mean, I think it's Bryce. I would. I mean, if I could get good odds on Bryce, I'd bet it all day. But it's like minus. I think the last time I looked, it was like minus 1,200. You know, which is almost a lock. You know, it's not even worth betting.
Right.
But yeah, Bryce. I agree with Atik that the draft starts at for sure.
I agree. I think it's gonna be Bryce. But they got a little curveball coming at 2. I don't think it's what everybody thinks it's gonna be. But that's all I got for this evening's episode.
All right. Well,
Take it away, Dustin.
That leads us to segment 2, which is Commish's Corner. And Atik, take it away.
All right. Welcome to the first Commish's Corner. What is Commish's Corner, you may ask? Well, being a commissioner is a thankless job, and no one prepares you for it. So you have to love it. Well, Let me ask everybody: have you ever been in a league where a commissioner is too stern, too stubborn, and sucks all the fun out the league? Or have you ever been in a league where a commissioner is too weak and everybody runs over him and he can't put his foot down? Well, Commish is here to help you guys make the best fucking league around. So, what's topic number one for Commish's Corner? Respect my authority. Well, respect my authority, you asked me, Eric Cartman. Well, being a commissioner of a fantasy football league, you are leading grown men. And the part about that is you have to gain the respect of grown men. And I think the easiest way to gain respect from men is to, make them feel heard and understood. And not to dig too deep into my personal life, I'll always say one of the best qualities of a leader is knowing when you're wrong. So if you can admit when you're wrong, it helps that other person, other party, the other GM there feel understood and heard. So don't be too big of yourself. But at the same time, you got to boss the fuck up, homie. This is your league. You're a commissioner. You got to be a fucking boss and put your foot down. Remember, this league is your baby, and you're not going to let anybody just take your baby and be all willy-nilly and do whatever they want. You're going to protect your baby, and you're going to do that to your league too. So boss the fuck up, put your foot down, and do your damn thing. All right, that's my rant, gentlemen. What do you guys think?
So I play in many leagues, and I have always fought for this, and I just want to see what your take is on it. But missing the playoffs sucks. I mean, that's where you get that chance to restart and win it, no matter what, if you're first or if you're eighth. But how do you feel when you're the highest point total, but you just have bad luck every week? You have the most points scored, and you're ninth in the league in a 12-man league. How do you feel about the top 7 going to the playoffs, and then that little 8th spot you give to the highest scorer?
So yeah, I definitely get that. Usually the highest scorer is probably the best team in the league or one of the best 2 teams in the league. But there are times where the highest scorer has a lot of bad luck. I get it. I've seen it before. One way I did this, or I dealt with this in my past, and I also did this in one of my newer leagues, Pigskin Pervs. The highest scorer gets the 3rd place money. So it goes 1st place money, 2nd place money, and then instead of 3rd place, you put the highest score there. It doesn't change anything with the playoffs or nothing like that, but the highest scorer gets his little 15 minutes of fame and get a little piece of winnings for all the work he did. But yeah, 1st place, 2nd place, and highest score. That's how I dealt with that in the past.
I like that. I like it that way.
One suggestion that I would say for that is I'm in a couple leagues where you play against one person, but you have 2 matchups. So you have your regular head-to-head matchup, just like any normal fantasy football league, and then your other matchup is against the median. So what it does is if you have the top half, like you take all the scores of everyone at the end of the week and the final scores, and if you beat the median score, then you get another win. So you either going to get 2 wins, you're going to go 1-1, or you're going to go 0-2. And the only way you go 0-2 is if you lose your matchup against your head-to-head person, and if you don't score above the median. And so what that does is it eliminates me putting up 180 points, but Atik puts up 185 and beats me, and I have the 2nd highest in the league score in the league. Does that make sense? So yep. That's a good way to kind of not penalize the person for putting up almost 200 points, but they just happen to play one person that, the wrong opponent of all 10 other people in the league. And so in that case, you would go 1-1. You would get a loss for your head-to-head matchup, but you would get the win for scoring above the median. And each week you get either, there's two chances to get either 2 wins, 2 losses, or go 1-1. And I think that's a good way to fix that issue as well.
Interesting.
What you got for us? Anything else?
Me, no.
Oh, no, I told you I did my rant. My rant was going to be it.
All right. I just have one more thing to bring up as far as Commish. Rem and I are in a league, and the Commish this past year, he ended up losing in the championship in a different league, and he got upset and deleted the sleeper app. And so he was the commissioner of our league, and he deleted. He didn't have the app on his phone for like 4 weeks, 5 weeks. What debauchery do you think of that? I mean, that is just some bullshit, huh?
Yeah, that's not a commissioner. That's not a commissioner. So, I
No, it is not.
I don't know, man. Like, I'm not in too many leagues this year that aren't my leagues, but the leagues that I am in that aren't mine, the commissions are pretty solid, and I just wouldn't think they would do that. So, I mean, I don't know. That's Bushwick to me.
Yeah, that was the first time I had ever heard that, and I was like, what circus are we in?
Well, it's not like he was quiet on the app either. He kept sending trades. Like he would do it on his computer, I guess, but he kept sending trades to us, stupid ass trades like usual. And then his excuse for some of the things that went down was, oh, I deleted the app. But I mean, you still were on the sleeper website. It's not like you didn't see everything that was going on.
I don't know, man. Just, I mean, you a commissioner and you dealing with, grown men's money. Just the amount of money I got held up in League Safe over my leagues, there ain't no way I could think of doing some shit like that. I don't know. That's just Bushwick, man.
I think you said it best. It is Bush League. But let's move on. All right. So the next step we have is the best bets. So what this is during the season, I'm not a professional, so this is not financial advice, so don't take this with a grain of salt. But
take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, take it with a grain of salt. I said that wrong. But this is just me being a degenerate. So during the season, I'm gonna have some best bets for y'all. But I did put together a couple off-season bets last week or 2 weeks ago, and I'll share them with y'all. So first one was betting the Jaguars regular season wins, and the line right now is 10.5. And I took the under, even though I'm excited about the Jaguars. I think they won the division last year. They won a playoff game. Trevor Lawrence obviously matured and had a better season. They get Calvin Ridley back and all that jazz, and we're excited for him. But I think we need to pump the brakes, and I'm gonna tell you why. So first and foremost, the under is always a safer bet because that factors in injuries, right? But to take that out of the equation, I looked up their schedule for next season, and if they were to go over 10.5, that means they can only lose 6 games, right? So I looked at their schedule, and mind you, they ended up pulling a first place schedule since they got first place in their division last year. So that pulls. They have to play San Francisco. That's tough. They have to play Kansas City. That's tough. They have to play Buffalo. That's 3. They got to play Cincinnati. That's 4. Okay, so that means they can't lose 2 more games. They play Baltimore, So if Lamar Jackson's back, that's going to be a tough game. And that doesn't even count the divisional games where it's very rare that you just win all 6 divisional games. So you split them and you lost 7 games. So I took the under. It was at -140 whenever I bet it, which I don't know what it is now, but I think that's a pretty solid bet if you ask me. I'm not gonna lie, I took over 9.5 wins for the Saints because I'm a homer, and I feel like we can do it. I mean, we pulled the third place schedule. I think that's in our favor. We got a better quarterback this year. Mike Thomas should be back. So it was a little bit of a homer pick, but I still think it's pretty solid. I think we're going to win the division. Knock on wood. And my last one I have Paris Johnson being drafted before, I'm sorry, Peter Skoronski, which I think Paris Johnson Jr. is going to be the first lineman drafted. So I just thought that was an easy bet, but there's never an easy bet. So we'll see. Next episode I'll let you know how profitable I am. But those are my 3 bets that I have for this segment. Also, what we're going to do in this segment is during the season, we as a podcast will go through our 2 leagues, Real House Husbands of Fantasy Football, and I Swear I'm Not Addicted, and we will kind of look through the matchups and give our input on who we think is going to win and whatnot. But being that we're in the off season, we are going to review both of our leagues and kind of each give our top 3 and our bottom 3 teams in each league and kind of analyze the teams, say why and whatnot. So with that being said, let's start with I Swear I'm Not Addicted. And let's let Rem, you go first. Give us your top 3 and give us a background on why you think and such.
All right, hold on one second. Trying to share this screen with y'all so we can look and see who we're talking about. All right, I Swear I'm Not Addicted. So my 3 best, I got Jarrett B and Baby Drip probably with the best chances of winning. Baby Drip is what?
Gotta pick one. You can't have both. Well, who's the best?
Well, we'll do on the top 3, weren't we?
Yeah. So you gotta put who's first, who's second, who's third.
All right. Well, let me go to their teams real quick. All right. Baby Drip, where you at? I think it's Jay Beast with Baby Drip coming in a close second. This is Baby Drip's team right here, but he's got a solid starting quarterback. He's weak at the running back, or at his running back 2 right here. But I mean, he's got Russell Wilson. It just seems like he's got a really good shot, but him, just like Jay Beast, they both have horrible. Like, look at these draft picks. He does not have a draft pick this year, and he doesn't have a draft pick till the 4th round of 2024. But Jay Beast, he's got a young quarterback and a middle-aged quarterback that's for my team and Dustin's team, who is on a new team, so he might be solid. But and then let's see, you got a solid 2 wide receivers right here, and then a solid RB1. But I mean, you never know what J.K. Dobbins is going to do. But he at least has the 3rd overall pick in our rookie draft this year, where he can make some moves and make his team a little better. So in the future, his team's not going to be too great, but because it doesn't have anything to build off of. But I think he has the best shot, being Jarrett B. He has the best shot of winning our league. I don't want to be a homer and pick my team, but And then thirdly, I think PD Boy has a good win now team, like third overall win now team, and he's got some solid picks coming in for him for this year. None for next year, but he has some solid picks to build on. And then honorable mention, who I think would be a dark horse, would be Any Given Sunday. Let's see. Let's show his
I
team
thought he had
real
a good
quick.
team too.
That's funny. I had an honorable mention too, and I thought I was gonna be the only one, so I'm glad I'm not.
Yeah, but those are my three best with that honorable mention.
So to clarify, you have JB's number one. You have Drip God, aka Baby Drip, as number two. You have PD Boy at number three. You got honorable mention Any Given Sunday, right?
Yeah, Any Given Sunday, those 4.5 hour picks to 8.5 hour picks did him well. Did him well in our league.
All right.
In our draft, I should say. He took his time. He made it, and he could be anywhere. He could be in the middle of the pack. He could be at the top of the pack. He's a dark horse to win the league. So put your money on him. He's got the best odds to win. I mean, he's got the best betting odds to win. Probably like plus 600.
All right. Love that. All right, Atik, you're next. What you got? Who are your top three? And give us why.
Okay, my top three. All right. Everybody knows I'm like, when it comes to fantasy football, I'm R. Kelly when it comes to this shit, man. So I love CK's team. You can pull his team up. Yeah. So I think he has a lot of good young talent. You know, I value, and I don't just, it's dynasty, so I value young talent. He has good young talent, like core talent, talent that teams are going to get targets to. Teams are they're going to develop into that. Yeah, there you go. Now, yeah, young talent with those fucking picks. There we go. That explains it right there. All right, so team number two, I'm actually going to go with Rim. Put your own team up next.
Okay. I don't even remember what my name was.
Yeah, I like this. This is solid. This is real solid. You got a nice little mixture of now and later. You're kind of like a win now, win later, now later type deal. I like your wide receiver core. You got
Hey, you can't do both.
Tyreek
You either win now or
Hill.
win later.
I'm gonna start charging y'all for the names, but I like your wide receiver core right there. You got Darren Waller. Honestly, you got the best wide receiver core in the league, and then you just have a lot of solid players around it. I'll go on record. Don't hate me, guys. So I'll go on record to say we need to work on these rosters in this league a little bit more. But I would say the most solid two I would say would be Casey's and yours, Rim, and then number three I would say Any Given Sunday. I like this team. It's like I want to say I don't like it because of certain things like Palmer and AJ Dillon, but then there's certain things that I do like Waddle, what else? Harris, Burrow. He got a nice little three-headed monster around there. If he could work the waiver wire, work some trades, it could be a real decent team there. But like I said, we got to do a little more activity in this league. Get some trades going, build these teams up here.
100. Absolutely. All right. Well, I'll go next. So my top three, Rem, I believe you and I have a lot of similarities. I have Jarrett B as the best team in the league. He's got He's got Trevor. He's got Derek Carr, two solid quarterbacks. He also has the 103. Now, we know Bijan's going number one, and we know JSN's going number two because my man Atik has been spreading that like gospel for weeks now. So he's going to get.
Oh, it's not a secret. It's not a secret where I'm going to number two.
It is not a secret, bro. You might as well be the Carolina Panthers because we already know who you're picking. So he's going to get his pick of the litter at quarterback, whether it be Bryce, CJ, Will, AR-15. So he's already got, three solid quarterbacks. His wide receivers, CeeDee Lamb, Drake London, Chris Olave, Keenan Allen, those are some dogs. He's got some young talent. He's got some elite talent. I like, his running backs, Ramondre Stevenson, J.K. Dobbins. They aren't the strongest. I will say they aren't the strongest. However, I think those are good compliments to his elite talent everywhere else. So I do think he is the best complete team. Y'all are going to give me some shit for this next one, and I'm here for it. I truly did this unbiasedly. That's a word, but I did it. I really tried not to have myself in here, but I'm putting myself in number two, and I'm going to tell you why.
I didn't think that was allowed to be in the top three. I honestly didn't think.
Listen. I didn't want to be. Right. But I'm gonna tell you what. So I got Justin Herbert and Tua as my two quarterbacks. Right. Those are some solid studs. All I need is Tua to stay healthy and do his thing, and he'll be all right. My wide receivers, I got AJ Brown, Garrett Wilson, Jerry Jeudy, Deontay Johnson. Those are some elite, safe. I think I might be higher on Jerry Jeudy than a lot of people. I really think he's gonna. He gained Sean Payton. I don't see how the offense could be worse than what it was last year. So I have those four as wide receivers on my bench. I have Tyler Boyd, who isn't sexy, but he always ends up having 3, 4, 5 pretty good games. So when I looked at the teams, who's got the best starting lineup, who's got depth, and who's got picks. I have the 105. I have a second rounder, and I also have a 2024 first, which a lot of teams either had a lot of 23 picks or all 2024 picks or none. So I felt like that was a good balance. I have a top 5 pick this year. I have a first next year, as well as some other picks. And then for running backs, Josh Jacobs, I believe he's going to repeat. David Montgomery, I think he's in a good spot, landed spot in Detroit. I have Javonte Williams on the bench that obviously he's going to take some time for him to come back. And then I have James Cook that I think is going to show out in Buffalo. So I feel like I hope, but I feel like I have a complete team, a young team, and I also have the draft capital to add to it as well. So I gave myself number 2, and I'm going to move on because I feel awkward as hell right now. And number 3, I think we all gave him number 3. I'm giving it to Any Given Sunday. He's got 2 studs at the quarterback, Joe Burrow and Dak Prescott. His only weak spot in his starting lineup is his wide receiver 3, and that's Josh Palmer. However, he has the 109, the 110, and the 201. So he can definitely, between those 3 picks, if he fucks that up, something's wrong. So, he'll be able to get a solid wide receiver 3 to pair with Jalen Waddle and T. Higgins, 2 other elite wide receivers. I like Najee Harris. I like he's got Pacheco, which is yet to be determined. I think A.J. Dillon is a solid running back 3. So I think he has a pretty complete team as well. So I gave him 3. And then I gotta say, my honorable mention is CK Thompson. I love what he did. Like Atik said, he's got a lot of young talents. Um, I don't think Treylon Burks is one of those where it's like yet to be determined. He's young. He took over for AJ Brown. However, he was wide receiver 78 last year. It's yet to be determined. Having him as my wide receiver 2 is a little scary. He's got Deshaun Watson. He's got Jordan Love as his 2 quarterbacks, which, you can do better. However, when you scroll down and you look at his picks, he's got the 101, the 106, the 107, and then I'm not even about to name all the second rounders he's got, but he's got 7 second round.
The whole second
right?
round.
He basically has the whole second round. So, Bijan's going 1. At the 106, he's probably going to get Jahmyr Gibbs. That would be my guess. He made it clear that he's going 0 RB and he's getting in the draft, and based off the picks that he has, he can easily do so. But when you pair Deshaun Watson, Jordan Love, and then he's got Mac Jones as his quarterback 3, when you pair that with his young wide receivers, Marquise Brown, Jahan Dotson, Treylon Burks, plus whoever he gets in the draft, and then he's got Kyle Pitts, which I think Kyle Pitts and TJ Hawkinson. So he's got 2 of the top 5 tight ends in the tight end premium league. He's definitely set for the future. So, I don't see this team placing top 3 this year, but I definitely see this team as a contender in the future. And I couldn't not name him in my rankings. So I had to put him as an honorable mention. So that is my top 3. Jared B., who I believe Rem and I had at the top. Myself at second, and Any Given Sunday at third, which I think we all 3 had him at third as well. So let's move on to who do we think are the 3 worst. And we're going to go in the same order. So Rem, take it away.
No offense, Atik. I have you as the worst, but hear me out. I have you as the worst win now.
I hope so.
I hope you have the worst win now, but you have great young talent. I don't see you winning more than 3 games this year. Granted, that could all change. You never know. But you have great draft picks. You could do a lot just this year. And then next year you took over the first round. And I honestly think you're probably going to be a force to be reckoned with in 2025, even in 2024, depending on the how the season goes for your rookies. But you have a great up and coming team. But if we're going to talk about win now, I do not think you will win more than 4 games at most. And like I said, no offense, but you have good solid core, but you were definitely in build mode or rebuild mode. But I like your young talent that you have, but hey, look, prove me wrong, but depending on what you do or what happens in the draft, and you get some of them diamonds in the rough. As of right now, I don't think you'll win that many games. And like I said, no offense. Don't delete my number.
No offense taken. No offense taken. There, when you said that you think I will win 3 or 4 games this year, I almost got offended myself, to be honest with you. I mean, we're hoping to go number 1 in the draft to get Caleb Williams to match with Patrick Mahomes in those 6 first-round picks next year. So we're just collecting young talent this year. I think I got a nice base there with the 6 first rounders next year. So
Yeah,
I already think
you
this
got
league needs to work
50%.
on their rosters. I'm just gonna say y'all gonna be in trouble next year.
You got a 50% chance of getting everybody that you want in in next year's rookie draft.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah, y'all gonna be in trouble next year. Y'all better work on your rosters.
yeah, we're definitely gonna have to make some moves. My next team, I can't read my notes. Let's see. So I have CK as the second worst, but same as you, depending on what he does in the draft. As the team right now, he's not winning more than 3 games, 5 games at most. But like he has great draft picks. He runs the whole second. He has 3 picks in the first, so he may be bad this year, but him and like his team this year is going to be like your team next year. Just um, and he's going to have two. He's going to have. You don't even know how many proven sophomores, because there will be rookies this year, sophomores next year. How many proven he's going to have, and we're just going to be jealous and we're not going to be winning the game. But this year, I don't think his win now mode will be kicking in unless he hits at least four or five of his rookies um, from this year. And then double tap. Where you at? Why'd I put you on my list? Well, he has no quarterback, and his is like a great core team, but I don't think it's like it was hard to pick a third. I kind of just chose him because he has an old quarterback. He has a running back that is sophomore. He could have a sophomore slump, and then his other running back, Travis Etienne, could also have. Well, he more or less like it was a sophomore slump because last year was his rookie year. His wide receivers are outstanding between Justin Jefferson and Devontae Smith. I mean, he has the number one wide receiver, and the number I don't know what Devontae Smith was, but I know he was top 20. Then you got Dameon Pierce, which if he comes back from a great injury, if he comes back great from an injury, watch out. But like I said, it was hard putting him in here, but he's another dark horse, like a really, really dark horse to come in and win this year. But another problem I have with his team is he has 1 pick this year. He doesn't have a first rounder next year, and his pick this year is in the third round. So his win now mode. I don't see him doing much this year or next year, but he's gonna have to make some trades. I don't dislike his team. I like it for redraft. It's a great redraft team that's not a super flex, but I can't see this being a top tier team in the league. But like I said, who knows? It's just like in a redraft league, that great team, he could win it all. He could win it all. You never know. All
So
right, that's my three.
to reiterate, you have Imhim at the bottom. You have CK Thompson second to last, and then you have Double Tap third to last. Is that right?
Correct.
All right. Let's see what you got.
All right. So my worst team, I'm gonna say go ahead and go with Baby Drip. Fuck you. So the
Knew that was coming. For the brand.
We're going to edit out the laughing. Okay.
For the brand.
Okay. All right. Baby Drip. I have you as the worst team because you are the very worst person alive. So that's self-explanatory. The second worst team, I'm going to go ahead and go with myself. You pulled me up here.
So we
I'm spending a
out
lot.
of the three heads, we got one that thinks he's got the best team, and the other one that recognizes that he doesn't have the best team.
Second
And
best. I said second best. I didn't say
oh,
best. Second best.
okay,
But carry
okay.
on.
So I'm the realest out of all of us. Okay. So I'm spending a lot of money on fantasy this year. My wife told me no investment teams. She wants some winnings this season, but she doesn't know about this team here. Like I am willingly hoping to get that first pick. You know, just look at this team. Look at the young talent on this team on offense and defense. So it's holes everywhere, yes, but it's just draft the best young talent and then just filling around it. Like, just imagine Patrick Mahomes with Caleb Williams next year. Oh yeah, and we're not even talking about Madison, where he's about to be the number one back in Minnesota. So let's just get the best talent out there, and then if you go down to the draft picks, if we oh yeah, we already know, the 1.2 is going to go to JSN. You just might as well slot him in. But next year, those 6 first rounders, along with all that young talent I have on the team, I hope I'm the worst team this year because I'm probably going to be the best team next year and for many years after that. As long as Jameson Williams stop betting on goddamn games and shit.
Facts. And what's your next team? So you got Baby Drip as the worst. You got Daddy Drip as the second worst. And who's the third worst, in your opinion?
Hey,
I don't think we have any
I'm
more.
sorry,
Drip.
man. You're such a good guy. You're such a good guy. But go ahead and pull up Coach, broke ass uncle. Like, I feel so bad even putting you on this list. You're such a good person. Like, I feel like I'm doing something wrong putting you on this list. But you have some really, like, Chase and Brees Hall. You got 2 cornerstones right there. But as far as what you have around it, you will want Kenny Pickett to be in your super flex spot, not your starting spot, and Fournette, he's we don't even know where he's going to be, and then you don't really have any draft picks in his rookie draft to even it out. It's just you gotta make some moves, man. You gotta pull some triggers here. You'll be straight next year. It looks like you got 2 firsts next year, but this year is gonna be rough. It looks like you're gonna be fighting me for that number 1 spot, and I need you to get more wins than me, bro. So make some moves, my man. When I say number 1 spot, I mean number 1 spot in the draft next year.
Yeah. We get you. All right. So now it's my 3. I won't spend too much time on the worst one because there's a common denominator, and Daddy Drip, aka Imhim, aka Atik. I apologize, brother. Although I shouldn't apologize because you want to be the worst, but clearly, I mean, you're not playing for this year. It's no surprise. You have 6 firsts next year. I think you have a lot of potential. You have some young studs. I think if we had this conversation next year, you wouldn't be anywhere near the bottom, so long that you don't fuck up the draft next year. So, needless to say, I got you sliding as the bottom team. Second to last team, I think similar to Rem, I have double tap. You got Aaron Rodgers and Sam Howell as your 2 quarterbacks.
I thought he had a decent team.
See, I'm gonna tell you why. He's got Aaron Rodgers and Sam Howell as his 2 quarterbacks. Sam Howell, they say, is going to be the starter, but you never know. He's got all he has in 2023 is the 307, and then he doesn't even have a first round pick next year. So at quarterback, you're already behind the 8 ball. His starters, you got JJ, you got nice running backs, Ken Walker, Travis Etienne, you got JJ, you got Devonta Smith, you got Brandon Ayuk. Okay, those are not bad, but I mean, when you look at his bench, he doesn't have any bench players. What are you going to put? Devontae Parker, Allen Robinson, John Mechie, who's not proven, Adam Thielen, Josh Kelly. When you look at his bench and his team as a whole and the draft picks, I just don't see it. I just don't see this team being anywhere near the top. I would say I hope I'm wrong, but I don't hope I'm wrong. Sorry, double tap. I got you as the second to last team. And then third to last team, I'm going to go with Broke Ass Uncle for similar reasons to Atik. You know, starting at the top, Kenny Pickett. That's not a quarterback one. You do have Matt Stafford, Sam Darnold, and Desmond Ritter on the bench, but I don't think that's going to cut it. You know, he only has a 5th-round pick in 2023. That's not going to cut it. But I will say, you know, he's got some nice pieces. He's got Brees Hall. He's got JT, Jonathan Taylor, as his 2 running backs. That's solid as hell. You got Jamar Chase. You can't get much better than that. You got Dallas Goedert. So he does have some great pieces. And when you pair that with 2 firsts next year and 2 seconds next year, this team can definitely be, I don't know if I'd say contender, but can definitely be way better in 2020 after 2024 when he gets through that rookie draft, as long as he picks correct. You know, Christian Kirk isn't a bad wide receiver too, in my opinion. But I don't see this team contending. I mean, you look at his bench, he's got Zonovan Knight, Zach Moss, Gus Edwards, Keontae Ingram. I mean, they're not even going to see your starting lineup at all. I do like Pat Freiermuth on the bench, but you know, Curtis Samuel, Jacoby Myers, he doesn't have much depth in my opinion. So he would be my 3rd worst team. So from worst to best, I have Imhim, I have Double Tap, and I have Broke Ass Uncle. Well, that was our review of I Swear I'm Not Addicted. Let's move on to the Real House Husbands of Fantasy Football. Atik, why don't you take it away first?
Oh, well, you just out unexpectedly. Okay. All right. Since we're just gonna throw it in my lap like that, so we're gonna go with the 3 best, right?
3 best. Give me 3 best.
I'm gonna start with Black Star. I like what he did. Let's see. Can we pull him up? There we go. So I really like what he did. I think his only weakness in his starting lineup, basically, I didn't see Ezekiel Elliott there, but I thought Williams was his only weakness because, you know, he's going to be out for a while with that ACL. But Justin Fields, Barkley, that receiving core is just deadly with Kupp, Tyreek, and Metcalf. You know, everybody loves that tight end there. That's everybody's tight end sleeper. You know, my dyslexia is going to stop me from saying his last name, so we're going to just ride past that. That defense is pretty nice as well. Let's get down there. Oh, he took most of his starting players out, but yeah, I mean, I just thought he was solid all around. He got a A for his draft grade, and you know, I think his bench is pretty good. Drafted really well. Just go down through his bench. He doesn't have any picks in this rookie draft. And I think he still has picks in the 24. But I thought as far as win now, you know, I think he's gonna have a nice little ride to the playoffs. I definitely think he has a strong squad. Number 2, I'm gonna have to go with the Chronic. He had a pretty amazing draft. And by the way, this draft here was one of the drafts for the ages, one of the best drafts I've been involved in. This is the first $500 league, so you know, a lot of good players, a lot of good owners in here. But the Chronic, he had a really good draft. You know, Hurts at the top. You know, Jacobs and you know J.K. Dobbins. You know, that's decent. That wide receiver core. You know, Garrett Wilson, Scary Terry, I like that. And the tight end premium here, full point tight end premium. You got Travis Kelce. I hope he falls off a cliff this year. That's how good that team is. And then Andrews down there in that flex. And then Joe Burrow. That's a nice 1-2 punch. Nice 1-2 punch with Hurts and Burrow. And then I think his defense is decent too. Yeah, solid. I think he has a decent bench as well. And I believe he has a couple of rookie picks too to add on to that. So I think with those rookie picks, which ones does he have? No, he doesn't. I thought he did. I thought he had a higher rookie pick. Well, I could be mistaken then. But yeah, I think he was solid. He had one of the best drafts there. Now, team number 3, I struggled with team number 3. It's a lot of solid teams here. A lot of solid teams, but I think I have to pull the Dustin. I kind of like my team here too, as far as win now. Yeah, I think it's a nice 3-headed monster with Patrick Mahomes and Hall and Chase. I think that's a nice 3-headed monster, and I think what really kind of put me out of there is Williams, though. I would have had the top 3 team before the other day because that JMO suspension hurt. But I like I got a sleeper tight end there, Kenny Pickett in the flex, Michael Thomas on the bench. I like that. His defense is questionable. I got Parsons there. That definitely helps the defense. Parsons. Adams, Wilson. Wilson was a top 10 DB last year. Bosa could stay healthy. Think about this team is offense heavy. So we'll see. With the escalators and the scoring in this league, the offense is going to definitely carry this team. If some things bounce right, like Dalvin Cook getting out of town, Madison getting that first RB. Stop showing my draft picks. I don't want to see that. But yeah, I'll take my team as number 3 though.
I got a question for you. Why the hell do you have chosen Anderson, aka Robbie Anderson, on your goddamn team?
Oh, because he was just picked up off the waiver wires. That's why.
All right, good answer. I just had.
Definitely wasn't drafted.
All right, I was gonna say I don't remember that because I was in the league watching y'all draft and I didn't remember that pick. But he's on an NFL team. He should be.
Just can't believe he changed his name to Chosen.
Changed his name.
Not Chosen.
Ocho Cinco.
Yeah. All right. Well.
Yeah, but he Ocho Cinco could back it up.
Facts. All right. Well, that's not a bad squad. So you had Black Star, DeChronic, and Imhim. Is that correct?
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go next. So I think the best team is J Beast.
Good squad.
He's got a good squad.
You're looking at the wrong league.
Yeah. He's got Jared Goff, Derek Carr, and Jimmy Garoppolo as his 3 quarterbacks. So I feel like, that's not the best, but it's solid, it's safe. He's got 3 of them. He doesn't have 2, so he has options. When you go to the wide receivers, he's got CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, T. Higgins, and he has Drake London at the flex. I feel like when you have Drake London as your flex, as your wide receiver 4, you're doing something right. His running backs, Austin Eckler, as long as he stays as a Charger, he's going to be top 10. Najee Harris, his 2 years in the league, he's been running back 3 and running back 14, so you got a solid running back right there. But the thing is, for me, is when I looked at the roster as a whole, he has some depth. He's got Miles Sanders, who I think is going to thrive in Carolina. He's got A.J. Dillon, who is a solid wide receiver 4 on a team that gets 50-50 of the work. So you know, I already said his wide receivers. I already said his quarterbacks, his running backs, his bench pieces. He's got Odell on the bench. He's got Tyler Boyd. The rest of his bench is iffy. Khalil Herbert, but he's got the only thing he's missing from 2024 is a first round pick. So he still has a second round pick. I think he's the best well-rounded team as far as starters, depth, etc. Out there. So I'm gonna give him the best team. Similar to Atik, I have Black Star as number 2. He's got. I don't want to repeat everything that Atik said, but he's got a pretty well-rounded squad around there. He doesn't have any draft picks really the next 2 years, but he's got 2 pretty elite quarterbacks, Justin Fields, Dak Prescott. He's got Kirk Cousins as a quarterback 3, so that's pretty solid. He's got Zeke in the flex, which we don't know where he'll end up, but he also has James Cooks on the bench, Romeo Dubs, Amari Cooper. So he has options as well. And I think the defense he's pretty well-rounded as well. So I got to give Black Star number 2. And the Chronic is number 3 for me. He's got probably the best quarterback duo in the league in Jalen Hurts and Joe Burrow. And then when you pair that with Travis Kelce and Mark Andrews, I don't see Travis Kelce falling off a cliff this year. And Mark Andrews, as long as he's got Lamar Jackson, he's going to be, tight end 3 at the worst probably. So he's already in a good spot there. Garrett Wilson is his wide receiver 1. Terry McLaurin is his wide receiver 2. Okay, not bad. But Tyler Lockett as a wide receiver 3, I feel like is pretty good value. He got him in the 10th round. And all Tyler Lockett does is produce. He's been in the league for 8 years. He's only missed 1 game. And for the last 4 years, he hasn't done worse than wide receiver 15. He was 13 last year, 15 the year before, and wide receiver 8 the year before. So, he is 30 years old. He's not what you look for as a dynasty wide receiver in sense of youth and whatnot, but he plays every game. He's consistent. He's a good complement to DK Metcalf, and all he does is produce. So I think it's a good wide receiver 3, and then he's got Josh Jacobs, J.K. Dobbins as his running backs. Not the strongest. I like Josh Jacobs, but he can get by. I feel like that's his only weakness. I feel like he can get by with that team, especially with his 2 juggernauts at quarterback. So those are my 3. J Beast number 1, Black Star number 2, DeChronic number 3, and I got to give one more honorable mention, and it happens to be the same fella, DK Thompson. It's my honorable mention. He's got what I like what he did was he's got a ton of picks once again. He established a young core. Sean Watson, DeAndre Swift, which could have been a better pick considering the Montgomery addition. But he's got Marquise Brown, Treylon Burks. If he ends up being something, he's got 2 of the top 4 or 5 tight ends in the league in Kyle Pitts and T.J. Hawkinson. He's got the 101, so he's going to get Bijan. He's got the 106, the 107, and the 108. Then he has 6 2023 second-round picks. So, once again, he damn near owns the second round. As long as he doesn't mess those picks up, he'll be Gucci. And then, not to mention, he's got 2 second-round picks in 2024. So, I feel like there's a similar trend in CK Thompson. He obviously believes in the rookie draft this year. And I think I had to give him an honorable mention because I like what he did with his team surrounding those picks. So those are my top 3 plus honorable mention. Rem, what you got?
All right, so I have the Chronic as my top team. And I mean, y'all said it, so I don't have to say it. But like the only weak spot he has is one of his running backs in J.K. Dobbins. But I mean, he can't pick anybody up in the draft this year. But I mean, he has a solid he has solid quarterbacks, like top two or top three or top four quarterbacks. And Jalen Hurts and Joe Burrow, who will carry his team. Garrett Wilson got Aaron Rodgers, who, I mean, you saw what he did with Mike White last year. Terry McLaurin, if he could get a quarterback, I mean, he was doing what he was doing with okay quarterbacks. If Sam Howell is what they think he's going to be, or if Jacoby Brissett played like he did with Amari Cooper, I just think the Chronic has a very well-rounded team, minus like a few key people in his starting lineup, but his bench is very weak. That's my number one. Let's see, my number two, I got Slick Turtle. Where is Slick Turtle? I don't know where he is. Oh, here he is. Sacks in the City.
Right there.
He just has a great overall like core team. Like it's all win now. But I mean, Trevor Lawrence, if he played the way he played
It's
last year,
balanced, right? Really balanced.
it's very balanced. I mean, his defense is good. He has some good, like he got Montgomery on the bench, and I don't think he did that on purpose. I think that was before he got traded to, or he got picked up by Detroit. So I mean, just that right there. And then, I mean, he doesn't have any draft picks, but he has good win now team. And then lastly, I have Black Star. Black Star, I mean, y'all said it enough. He's got a great, well-rounded team. No draft picks, but everything's pretty solid for a win now season. Like if this was a starting lineup in a redraft league, it'll be top tier. And then I have an honorable mention that's going to go to Atik. I love his team. I think he's dark horse for winning the whole thing, especially if Kenny Pickett actually shows up and starts throwing his George Pickens, which I have my fingers crossed because I have a lot invested in George Pickens, a lot of stock invested in him. He has no draft picks, but again, he win now mode. Well, I mean, not even with Brees Hall, and if Isaiah Pacheco does anything, like if he stays doing stuff, I mean, you got a solid squad plus your defense. Like I think you're like, if you're not fourth, you're first. So, yep.
Yeah, it's a young squad. Young squad.
Yeah, a young good squad, young proven squad.
So repeat your top three.
The Chronic, Slick Turtle, and Black Star.
Okay, so I think that the similarities in all three of our standings were we both had Black Star, we both had DeChronic, so that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I will say, Atik, your team, if Cam Akers, if Mike Thomas and Alexander Madison end up panning out, and Kadarius Toney, or not even necessarily all of them, but if two or three of the four, you're gonna be a force to be reckoned with, in my opinion.
Well, he got chosen Anderson, so
It's a lot of ifs. It's a lot of ifs.
It's a lot of ifs. It's a lot of ifs, but there's a lot of time between now and then, and a lot of things can happen. I mean, as soon as if Dalvin Cook does get moved, you have Alexander Madison as your running back one, or running back 2 on your team, but running back 1 on his team. If Mike Thomas stays healthy, if Kadarius Toney stays healthy and gets more involved in offense, you already have the quarterback on your team, so that's going to be a double whammy right there. Cam Akers, he started turning it up. I truly believe that the injury is what caused Cam Akers to have a slow start, but later on in the season,
I agree. I think he's finally healthy.
Yeah, he's finally healthy. Once he became the guy, it's going to take time. I think he could turn some heads. You definitely are a dark horse, but like you said, there was a lot of ifs, and I just couldn't put you in a top 3 at this point in time. But the 2 similarities that we all had was Blackstone and the Chronic, so that'll be interesting to see how that happens. All right, let's do the bottom 3. Atik, what you got?
All right. So similar to in my team in I Swear I'm Not Addicted, I'm gonna go with was it Petey Boy? He's not gonna do anything this year. Ryan Tannehill. Was it Jamal Williams at running back? Elijah Moore. Ferguson. Who knows about that? But next year, if we scroll down to his picks, he'll be sitting pretty next year. So as long as he keep making moves this year, he has 1.3 in this rookie draft, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that 4? 4 picks next year. 4 first-round picks next year. So, he has a good chance to turn it around. So I don't think he's going to do anything this year, but if he does something, if he does the right things with those picks next year and 1.3 this year, it'll be a different conversation next year. But I don't think he's going to do anything this year, though. Number 2, I am going to go with, Arvin Legends? Jerry? Let's go with Jerry. It was actually really hard to pick the worst teams in this league because this league is pretty solid. So it was really hard. But I just think the running back situation kind of tilts it here for him. Leonard Fournette doesn't even have a team, and, he's no longer going to be a lead back where he goes. And Alvin Kamara, he's probably, I don't know, the legal situation has to play out, but it's very hard for me to trust running backs that are 27 and older. So that's just hard for me. It's an injury waiting to happen in my eyes. But besides that, I think he does have a solid squad. As far as dynasty goes, I'll be scared about Hopkins. Have to do something there at that flex spot. If he's comfortable with Damian Harris, that'll be him. But that defense really has to be worked on. I remember in the draft, he kind of waited a while to work on that defense, but I think he has to work on that defense. And then for the third team, I'm going to go with the Blue Moon. And it was hard. It was hard putting this one here. But I think it's just a lot of uncertainty with Dalvin Cook and Joe Mixon there. We don't know what's going to happen there. And once again, Dalvin Cook's 27, and Joe Mixon's 26, probably be 27 soon. It's just hard for me to trust those older running backs. When it comes to fantasy football, I'm like R. Kelly. You got Allen Lazard at the 3 spot there in the wide receiver. Your tight ends are good. I like your tight ends. But then what really scares me is you got Trey Lance here at your super flex. I think from what I've been hearing, it's Brock Purdy's job to lose. So I think I'll be scared of that. If it's Brock Purdy's job to lose, then that super flex spot is gonna be something to be worked on. I like his young defense though. That Nick Bolton. Say what now?
Trey Lance might be getting traded as well. I won't be surprised if that happens tomorrow for a pick or whatnot. I think they're shopping right now.
Yeah, that scares me. So this uncertainty at the super flex. I like his young defense though. But what I think I really like, I like his draft picks. He has 1.4 and 1.5, which he could definitely do something there. Probably going to go quarterback, but we'll see. Looks like he has 1, 2, 3, 2004 first, and then he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, what was that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, and then in 4, 2005 first. So it looks like he's taking a slow game here. So he might have some uncertainty on the roster, and the roster's not bad. Once again, it was really hard to pick out the 3 worst teams in this league because it's really fucking solid. But I think he has the draft picks to turn it around. It's definitely going to be a slow build for building up to that 2025 draft, looking at those draft picks. But I'll say that, yeah, that's my 3 worst there.
All right. Well, so like you, I had the same exact 3, just in a slightly different order. I did have PD Boy as my worst team. Like you said, I mean, you got Ryan Tannehill as your number 1 quarterback. The running backs are weak. You know, you got Jake Ferguson as your tight end, so he's clearly, you know, he's got a first. He's got the 103 this year, and then he's got 4 firsts next year, 4 firsts, 4 seconds next year as well. He's clearly playing the long game. He's the worst team, similar to you in the other league. So I have the next 2 flip-flops from what you had. You had Arvin Legends as the second worst. I have the Lou Moon as the second worst. And basically what it came down to was the quarterbacks. The Lou Moon has Tua and Trey Lance and Zach Wilson. The other team, you know, like you said, the best word you used was uncertainty. There's a lot of uncertainty. Dalvin Cook, where is he going to be? Joe Mixon with his legal situation, what's happening with him? You know, he does have some early picks. He's got the 104, the 105, the 202, the 206. That's encouraging. And he does have 3 2024 firsts and 2 2024 seconds. So I think similar to Petey Boy is he's playing the long game clearly. Arvin Legends, he is my 3rd worst team. Again, uncertainty. Leonard Fournette, he didn't have a team. Alvin Kamara, we don't know how long he's going to be in jail for. Damian Harris in the flex, you got to do a little better than that. But he does have the 109, the 203, and the 205, so he can. But he does have no first next year, so he's got to make those picks count this year. But you know, he's got Herbert and Josh Allen as his 2 quarterbacks, so I couldn't, in good faith, put him worse than the Lou Moon just for his juggernauts as quarterbacks. But we do have the same 3 at the bottom, and I think 2 of the 3 at least are playing the long game, so that's no surprise there.
So I have a few different ones. I have Petey Boy as the same, as the last, but I mean he has all that upside that y'all just talked about. With all it's the worst, but he has all these picks that in the future he's going to be a problem. Like his quarterbacks, just that's one of the things that really stuck out to me is how horrible his quarterbacks are. Like Gardner Minshew, good luck. I mean, and then he has youngish wide receivers, but very iffy. I mean, he has a good chance in the future, but not this year, Playboy. Second, I have I put Any Given Sunday, but I don't remember what his team was. Like I like his team, but he has wait, I think I looked at him in the wrong league, so that's my bad. Yeah, no, not Any Given Sunday. It was, I think, Arvin Legends, and I didn't want to put him on this list because he has good, like his two starting quarterbacks. Just look at him. It's outstanding. And then all the other parts of this team just need a
He
little.
spent a lot of he spent a lot of capital getting those quarterbacks.
Yeah. And then I don't know. I just he he's a let's wait and see kind of team. And then CK Toms. I like his team a lot, and it was hard to put him on the third to last. But I also have him as a dark horse, which says a lot to what you were saying, how it was hard to put anybody on the three worst. But he is a dark horse to actually come back and win, like come and win this year for a win now because he has great young talent. His quarterbacks could be better, but I mean they can't get any worse. Like Deshaun Watson might be number one quarterback. Mac Jones you got to see what's going to happen with Bill O'Brien. His wide receivers could be a little better, and yeah, I mean he's got great draft picks, and he's got 4 out of 12 of the first rounders. So depending on what he does there, he could make this team look like the best team and own the league for the next 4 to 5 years, depending on what those young players do.
Yeah, it was. I will say in this league, the Real Househusbands League, it was definitely super hard to rank these teams. I mean, every team was solid in their own way, and I think as far as picking the three worst, we basically just chalked it up to who had the most future draft picks. I mean, even then, like you could see a way in which that team, like P Boy, you could see a way in which his team could be a good team, starting next year with the draft capital he has, but somebody had to be the worst team, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think all three of us had him as the worst, and I'm excited to see how this league, what happens in this league, because they had some good teams, and I was actually in the league when they were drafting, and I was just a bystander, and it was fun to watch. There was a shit ton of trades. There was people moving up to grab two juggernaut quarterbacks. There was people moving back to acquire first round picks, and it was a lot of fun to watch. So it'll be fun to watch how that unfolds. But all right, well, we got through the review of those two leagues. I think that was fun. I think we're going to be getting some shit from the bottom three teams that we all chose, but you know what? Someone's got to be the bottom three. So looking forward to the feedback. And
no shit from me, my man.
Yeah, you want to be the loser, huh?
And I swear I'm not addicted, but in the Real Househusbands of fantasy football, I'm trying to win that one. Win now, win later there too.
That's right. So the next segment, segment 4, is going to be the trade analyzer. So during the season, any trades that happen throughout the week, we're going to go over, we're going to analyze, we're going to give our opinions, just like we did with the review of the league. But there was one big trade that Atik in his other league made, and he wanted to share with everyone. It was a blockbuster trade. It was a 3-team trade, and Atik, take it away.
So this is the blockbuster trade, but this wasn't from I Swear I'm Addicted or the Real House Husbands. This is from the Chronics League, another solid league. It's best ball if I'm not mistaken. But this one, it was with my man KC and his buddy here. Let me tell you what happened. I wanted Chase, so I hit up KC and I was like, "Hey man, I empty the tank." So this is the only league I don't have Patrick Mahomes in. So I was just like, I'll go ahead and empty the tank and do the zero QB strategy. So wanted Chase, hit him up. He said I'll literally have to empty the tank for him. So that's what I did. When they had to empty the tank to get Chase, but kind of felt I could get another player if I kept the first. So me, I like to have contingency plans in case this one fell through. I wanted Kenneth Walker, so I hit his buddy up to see if he'll take a first, a couple first and something else, and he was interested in the deal. And but turns out while I was negotiating with both of them, I didn't know that they worked together or something. So in the middle of negotiating with them, they say, "You sure this deal isn't going to affect another deal?" And then all of a sudden, I get a picture of both of them. Said, "This is them right now." So, end up, I guess they worked together, and we started negotiating a 3-team trade, and ended up being one of the craziest trades I've been involved in. I think everybody got exactly what they wanted, and when I put it in the calculator, it seemed pretty fair across the board. So. I got my guys. I got Chase and Walker to go along with that 1.3 and the rest of the young talent I have on that squad in that league. And, KC, as we all can see, he loves picks. So he got the picks he wanted. He got picks in every league we see him in. And his buddy over here, he gets my 2 firsts for me. He gets TJ, from Minnesota. His boy, so it was a pretty big blockbuster trade. Everybody gets some high-powered people, TJ Hawkinson and 2 firsts. Yeah, he gets TJ Hawkinson 2 firsts. KC gets all those picks, and then I get Chase and Walker. Everybody's happy. Great trade.
So for those that can't see the screen, what are all those picks that CK gets?
All my picks for.
Just so people know the haul that was given up for. So you got Jamar Chase and Ken Walker. What's the other guy? Not CK. What's the other guy? What's his name?
I can't see his name. What's his name?
Ringen.
Is
that him? With this guy right here, Ringen?
Yeah.
Yep,
Ringen got TJ Hawkinson. Can you scroll the next one? Next one. You got TJ Hawkinson, a 2025 first, and a 2023 104. And then what does CK get? Because CK got a haul of picks.
He got all of my 2024 first.
You mean all?
Oh yeah, that's what it was. I had that's what it was. I had three 2024 firsts, and I was just like, do I want to keep collecting first here? Like, cause I got 6, and I swear I'm not addicted. I was like, do I want to keep collecting first here, or do I want to go shopping? And I said I want to go shopping. That's what, because I couldn't get Patty. I tried to get Patty here, and I couldn't get him. And I said, fuck it. I'm not gonna make an investment league. My wife said she want win now teams, so fuck it. I'm gonna make it a win now team. I went shopping, and I got my guys.
So if it doesn't work, it's your wife's fault, is what you're saying. I like it. But to reiterate, he gave away a 2020. Well, collectively, CK got a 2023 first, the 107. A 2023 third, 301. A 2023 403. And then he got all of Atik's 2024 picks. So, and that included 3 2024 firsts, and then a second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. So CK, my man. I can't wait till 2024 when you have like a jillion picks in these 3 leagues. I can't wait to see what you do with that. So hopefully you're a good drafter. But that's a blockbuster, a 3-team trade involving TJ Hawkinson, Ken Walker, Jamar Chase, and all those picks. I mean, that's fun. That's fun to be a part of.
Fun times, fun times.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Well, to close it out, thank you all for listening to us, whoever did. This is our first podcast. I promise you we're going to get better. We plan on putting one out. I don't know when the next one's going to be out, but we plan on putting one out weekly during the season. And obviously there'll be more stuff to talk about. But y'all have anything to close it out? Atik?
Hey, just want to thank everybody for watching us, supporting us on our first episode. Like Dustin said, this is our first episode. We'll continue to get better, so just give us some time, and we'll be up and rolling here in a few episodes.
Rem, what you got?
Yeah, I just want to reiterate, thank you for supporting us. We appreciate it, and just give us a few episodes. And then, yeah, that's about it.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening. If you made it this far, let us know let us know, slide into our DMs, hit up, throw in the group chat, whatever. If there's something that you want us to talk about, if you disagree with something, we can bring it to our next episode. Like Atik said, this is our first episode. We're not professionals. We're just degenerates. We plan to get better. We're going to get better. And we are glad that y'all are along for the ride. And like I said, let us know if y'all want us to talk about anything, or if y'all disagree with anything, or if you agree, whatever. Give us some feedback, whether it be good or bad. And we can't wait till the next episode. So I'm Dustin. That's Rem. That's Atik. We're out.